welcome to this afternoon webinar on getting to know Windows 10. So right now, everybody is so far logged in here. We're going to keep the phones muted, and so I'm going to walk you through the toolbar here just real briefly so that if you have any questions, you'll know how to ask them. You have two options. To the right, you'll see a GoToWebinar toolbar there, and you will see that there's a questions tab. You can type in your questions, and I'll be more than happy to kindly interrupt our presenter here today to ask him the question out loud. Or if you raise your hand, there's an icon with a raised hand. You can hit that, and then what I can do is unmute you. And we'll be unmuting the phones here and there, I'm sure, during the sessions as we stop to ask for questions. And as well, many of you are on, it looks like here, some of you are on the phone, others are using the audio or the mic on your computer. Be aware that, that you have a mic on your computer. Some people have audio, but they will not have a mic. So if you know that, then you may just have to go ahead and type in your questions. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to hand this off here to our presenter, James Mays. He is a Senior Network Systems Engineer with NIMS & Associates.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully this will be a good use of your lunchtime today. We're going to walk through Windows 10, which is Microsoft's most current operating system to date. Talk about a little bit about the features, the functionality, some of the things that apply more so to end users, and some of the things that apply more so to IT professionals. And hopefully give you a good overview of what the operating system is and what it can do for you. So with that, let me go ahead and get started. So just a quick little history. Windows has been around for a long time. I didn't list all the versions here, but just to give you a little bit of background, Windows 2000 came out back in February of 2000, which is why at the time it was called Windows 2000. Windows XP, which is interestingly enough still heavily used in a lot of organizations, came out in October of 2001. So that operating system is 15 years old. Windows Vista, which made a brief appearance, came out in 2007. It was quickly replaced in 2009 by Windows 7. Windows 8 came out about 3 years later in 2012. And now here we are, not quite 3 years later, and Windows 10 became available. You can see some of the different logos on the right as Windows evolved throughout its time. There's Windows 3.1, Windows 95, XP, Vista, Windows 7, and now the new logo for Windows 8 and Windows 10 on the bottom right there. So just a quick poll here, Henry, if you could pull that up. A quick poll of what the most commonly used operating system is among our attendees. We can show that poll to them. We'll give them a couple minutes to answer. So everybody want to go ahead and click on the screen. You can vote on the poll. And Henry, if you want to, you can close it whenever you think everybody's had a quick chance to answer. And then if you can show the results, that'd be great too. Okay. It's a little hard for me to see. So Henry, can you unmute and kind of just read that? It's a little hard for me to see the poll answers.
So it looks like here that 56% of our attendees today are using Windows 7. It looks like about a third are using Windows 8, and then we just have a small number of 11% currently on Windows
10. Great. So no, excuse me, nobody using XP or Vista anymore. That's always good. So, and a few people with some exposure to Windows 10 already. So, excuse me. Okay, so let's carry on here. So we're going to walk through some of the features of Windows 10. And again, some of these are more end-user features, so we'll start with those first, some of the things that you as the user of a Windows 10 machine might encounter and might make use of. So the first one we'll talk about is Cortana. So Cortana is, for lack of a better term, Microsoft's version of Siri. So Cortana is a voice-activated solution that lets you do things like set reminders, send emails, schedule events, search the internet, all kinds of things like that. So they have not only versions for Windows 10, but if you use Cortana on your Windows 10 machine, you can also get a version on your smartphone or your tablet. So there's an iOS and a Google Play version of Cortana. The benefit there obviously would be because it retains your search, you have your search history now across multiple devices. So if you've searched for it on your Windows 10 laptop, now when you go to your iOS device, it's going to remember that you've searched for that thing before and can more quickly return the results or provide relevant information to you. So let's go ahead and watch a quick video on Cortana.
Hey Cortana. Hey Cortana. Hey Cortana. Schedule a meeting. Open Facebook.
Sorry about that.
Hey Cortana. Hey Cortana. Hey.
Okay, sorry about that little glitch there, but as you can see in the video, Cortana, much like Siri or any of the other solutions from other providers, allows you to say, hey Cortana, which then gets the device's attention, and then you can ask questions, you can ask it to do something for you, you can ask for help. So we saw a couple different examples there of how you might use Cortana. Near the end, I'm actually running this presentation on a Windows 10 machine, so we can do some live demos of this stuff if you want, but just want to give you an example of what it looks like to use the Cortana solution. Okay, so the next thing on Windows 10 that's new is Microsoft's new browser. Their new browser is called Microsoft Edge, and they are touting faster page loads than Chrome or Firefox and extended battery life. Those are two of the big things that they believe that their browser will do better than others. So a couple other things that the browser has built into it is WebNote. So WebNote allows you to take notes directly on a web page. Reading View, which makes it easier to view the important information on a web page. And again, Cortana Search, allowing you to search for things directly within the web page or within the browser. So let's go ahead and look at another video here.
Meet Microsoft Edge.
Okay, so some interesting things there with the Microsoft Edge browser. And
Now,
saw a few
James,
different things.
excuse me. It looks like we're having a problem with the audio. So when you play the video, we're getting no audio.
Okay. I'm hearing it on mine. Maybe because I'm called in to, so maybe I need to switch back to mic and speakers on my laptop here. So let me do that real quick. Okay, can you still hear me here?
Can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and try to play this video one more time and see if you, tell me if you get audio this time. So are you getting audio this time?
No, there is no audio on these.
There's no audio on these. Okay. Well, I'll have to tell you what was said then. Not sure why the audio is not playing. We can provide these presentations to you after so that you can play the videos here. But basically what you're seeing in the video here is in the Edge browser we saw the ability to take notes right on the screen. We saw the ability to convert a web page that had all kinds of other things besides the content on them into a reading view so that we could more easily read what's on the screen. We saw Cortana recognize that in this example we were on a restaurant's web page. It pulled up the address, was able to automatically tell us directions and hours. It helped us place an order or make a reservation. It's detecting all that in the browser there for you. So that's some of the stuff they were talking about. Again, apologies, I'm not sure why the audio is not coming through, but you can, again, we'll send you these slides and you can play these videos with the audio. Microsoft does also have a YouTube page that these all come from where all the audio is available, so I'll highlight that a little bit later. So I do apologize the audio is not coming through. Okay, the next thing we'll talk about is the Start menu. So the Start menu, if you've been on Windows 7 for a while, which most people have, the Start menu is going to look a little bit different to you. If you've been on Windows 8 or you are the small minority that's already jumped onto Windows 10, then you're used to seeing this menu. This menu is a combination of Windows 8 and Windows 7. So we've got some of the tiles that you'll see on the right-hand side here that come from Windows 8. But we've also got the normal list of my applications and some things that we can do that come directly from Windows 7. So some of the different things that we'll see, again, there's one more video here, there's a couple more videos in the presentation, but I'm going to talk you through what you're going to show you is the ability to resize tiles. So tiles are these items here, right? On the right-hand side, those are all tiles. So the ability to resize, so you notice that some are large and some are small. The ability to move tiles from one location to another. The ability to group tiles. So in this case, they've got all these grouped together as work tiles. We'll show the ability to resize the Start menu. So this is the normal look, which has navigation on the left here with tiles on the right. But in the video, you see you can make these things bigger or smaller. You can. We'll show you quick tasks. So maybe it's not shown in this picture here, but next to the mail icon, there might be an arrow that if you click on the arrow will give you quick tasks like new email, new calendar item, things like that. The ability to look at all of your apps. So we're only seeing the most commonly used ones up here, but we can look at all of our apps. And then just by clicking on a letter, we can jump to that group of apps for that letter. And then this has actually been around since Windows 7, is the ability to click on the Start logo, which is the Windows logo there, and then just start typing whatever it is you're looking for. So you could click the Windows logo and start typing Outlook, and it would pop up with Outlook, and you could click on Outlook and jump right to it. So let me clear these off. And again, I'll sort of talk through the video as it plays here, since I apologize there's no audio. So I'll show you some of the things they're going to talk about.
So here we're going to click on the Start menu, and we're going to resize the tile so we can make them small, medium, or large. Just by right-clicking on that. We can move them wherever we want. We can drag something from our most commonly used, put a tile right there on the side. We can name a group of tiles, so if we want these all to be our entertainment group, we can name that. We can drag the Start menu, so if it's not big enough, because we've got lots of tiles, we can make it bigger. This is a more Windows 8 kind of look here. But now you see we've got groups of tiles. Over next to Outlook, we've got an arrow. So click that arrow next to Outlook. We can see all the quick jump items there. You can leave a message, and you can jump to All Apps, click on a letter. And now we can jump to all the applications that start with S. Or if we want, we could just hit the Windows logo key, and like I said, just start typing whatever it is we're looking for, and boom, there it is. We typed maps. Maps was at the top. I click on that or hit enter, and now we're in our mapping icon, our mapping application. Excuse me. So those are all the things that she was describing in the video that you couldn't hear, unfortunately, with the audio is missing. Hopefully that was something of interest to you. One of the things that we'll cover a little bit later is on the Start menu. I will actually show you some of the things that this still looks and feels a lot like Windows 7 if you want it to. But if you like the Windows 8 experience or you like the features of having tiles, you can do that. Or again, if you like none of it, you can just jump in and start typing whatever it is you're looking for. So the last thing, not the last thing, the next thing is Windows Hello. So Windows Hello is a new security feature built into the Windows 10 operating system. And basically it allows you to, either with your face, it'll do facial recognition, or with your finger, you can unlock your device. Obviously the hardware is required to do this, so your laptop or your tablet must support these features. But if they do, you can actually program them to recognize your face. So you can walk up to your laptop and say hello, and the camera will come on and recognize it's you and say, oh, hi James, and log you in. So basically the goal here with any of these solutions, obviously if you've got an Apple iPhone, you're familiar with some of the Touch ID stuff already. The goal with these solutions is to get rid of passwords. We know passwords are inherently insecure, they're difficult to remember. So either people make them really easy, or they write them on a sticky note and put them on the desk, or they choose not to use them at all. So the goal here is to get rid of passwords and use biometrics and things like that to really make it a little more interesting. And again, a quick video, and I'll try to describe the audio. So using your face or your fingerprint or your iris, it can recognize you. So once you set it up, the device is encrypted and protected. If it's not you, then it doesn't unlock and nobody can get in. So again, if you have a fingerprint reader or a camera that supports it, more and more devices will come out of that. But if you've got it already, you can use it now. This is an application I think you'll see a lot in healthcare fields. So you're starting to see it already. Maybe you guys have been to the doctor's office and the PC's locked, but the doctor or the nurse walks into the room, the exam room, and the PC unlocks based on a device they've got in their pocket or they're wearing around their neck that recognizes that it's them and they're in the room and therefore unlocks the device. So this is another method that I think we'll see in areas where maybe you've got shared computers or whatnot. You walk up to the computer and it recognizes it's you and logs you in as you with your profile. Somebody else up them and they get plugged in.
James, you're kind of breaking in and out with your audio.
You have something in it? Okay. Do my best here. If you're not hearing the audio, then on the is that a little bit better or no? Yeah. Okay.
It's better. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So the last thing then is Windows Defender. So Windows Defender is built in and on by default now. It is Microsoft's antivirus protection. So it's been around for a while, but was not always either on by default or installed by default. With Windows 10, it is now built in. So you don't have a choice whether you get it or not. It's there. You don't have to worry about buying and installing it, configuring it. There's no subscriptions. It just runs in the background. Now, if you have an antivirus solution that you are already using, so maybe you have Trend or Panda or Kaspersky or some other solution, then Microsoft's Defender will just turn itself off and it'll hide in the background. What's nice, though, is it's smart enough to know if the antivirus you've chosen to use either gets turned off or the subscription expires or something like that happens, then it will turn itself back on automatically, begin protecting your machine again for you. So definitely increasing the amount of security that they're building into machines from the get-go. Okay, so quick poll there, Henry, with what people, what their most intriguing feature is for them. And again, we'll give everybody a couple minutes to vote on what they thought was the most interesting feature so far. So we've got Cortana, Edge, Defender, a couple different choices there. Pick out, just curious what everybody thinks the most useful feature might be for them, or most interesting at least. Maybe it won't be the most useful. And again, here if you can show the results there. So a little bit of a mixed bag. Can you go ahead and read those? Again, it's hard for me to see those.
Sure. So we have about 27% showed interest in Cortana. That matches with the start menu customization. And about a fifth have some interest in Windows Defender. And then Microsoft Edge and Windows Hello at 13% each.
Okay, so it sounds like the start menu and Cortana got the most votes there. That's not surprising, right? That's what, as an end user, most of us are going to interact with most of the time, right? We're looking for something or trying to do something, or we need to run an application, or we need to find an answer to something, set a reminder, do a task, whatever it is we might do. So that's not too surprising there. Okay, so we'll keep moving on a little bit here. So moving more now into some of the back-end features and some things that are a little more on the IT side, but are important for, I think, everybody to know. So again, we talked a little bit about security with Windows Defender. So some of the things that have been around prior to Windows 10 but have now been made better in Windows 10 are things like AppLocker, BitLocker, the ability to do security auditing, Trusted Platform Module, which is integration with a chip that's built into the laptop, and then user account control. So some of these things, like AppLocker, give you the ability to control what applications can be run on a user's system. So if you don't want them running the Pandora application or the Facebook application, you can block those as an IT administrator. BitLocker provides disk encryption. So we know that laptop theft is pretty rampant. Same thing probably for tablets and things like that. So tablets or laptops running Windows 10 can be secured with BitLocker, which can provide full disk encryption. So if the machine is lost or stolen, everything on the data or on the drive is encrypted and cannot be read by anyone that's found the laptop. The last piece, user account control. Again, this has been around for a while, but this is that pop-up that comes up and says, are you sure you want to run this program? So they've put some more features and functionality into there, allowing us to control when we see those controls and how they interact with the user's ability to do things on the machine. There are also lots of new features built into Windows 10. Again, most of these are for IT professionals, but I think as an end user it's important to understand what kind of things can be done to secure the machine you're using or to secure the data that you're creating. So there's a few different things here. We've got Credential Guard, which is protecting those stored credentials that you've got on your machine. So more and more, we go to a website or we log into our email or whatever we might do, and there's always that option of, do you want to save this password? And we say yes, because that's convenient. So Credential Guard is a advanced feature now to help protect those stored or cached credentials that live on our machine. We've got better enterprise data protection built in and some better enterprise management for Windows 10 devices. So we can track who's got what and where it is and how it's being used. We've got things like mobile device management now. So a mobile device now is not just a phone or a tablet, it also includes laptops because they're mobile as well. So we can control the things that people do with those as well. And they've also gone and created a Windows Store for business. So again, allowing us, allowing us to find and acquire and provision applications for our end users and then distribute those out to them. So if there's an application you want everybody to have, purchase it through the Windows Store for Business, set it up the way you want to set up, and then push it out to all the Windows 10 machines so that everybody gets the same version and the same style of the application they want to have. Excuse me. In addition to the Edge browser, there's also additional Windows 10 browsing options. So just so you know, you still can use Internet Explorer in addition to Chrome or Firefox. So you aren't locked in on Windows 10 to using the Edge browser, although that's certainly what Microsoft would prefer you did, but you have lots of different browsing options there. So those are some of the new features in Windows 10. So the core experience in Windows 10 is the same across all the different versions, and they've tried to simplify that in a number of versions, although there are still more than one. So the base version is their Windows Home, Windows 10 Home, obviously intended for home users that don't need all the business or enterprise features. So they aren't looking for a group policy, they don't need to join a domain, they're not trying to push applications to 100 users, they want to run Windows on their home machine, their personal machine. So that's the home version. So right now, if you were to buy that brand new, it's about $120, or right now it is a free upgrade if you're already running Windows 7 or Windows 8.1. That upgrade is slated to expire. It started last year in 2015. It's slated to expire July 29, 2016. And what that means is that the free upgrade is what would be expiring. If you've already upgraded, they're not going to then expire what you've upgraded to and make you start paying for it. What would be expiring is just the free option. So come July 29th, 2016, they will do one of two things. They will either extend the free upgrade to try to get more people to move to Windows 10, or they'll start charging for the Windows 10 upgrade. So they haven't announced which way they're going to go yet, although most of the pundits and talk show hosts and I think that they're going to go ahead and extend the free upgrade to get more people on to Windows 10. We also have Windows 10 Professional, so the Pro version, which is what most of you are probably using. So if you're using Windows 7 Professional right now, you would go to Windows 10 Professional. It's obviously intended for business users, which is why they call it Pro. So it does include features like domain join, so it allows your IT administrators to join your computer to the domain, which gives you access to all of the domain resources like file shares and things like that, but also allows them to control the different things that the machine can do and decide who can log into it and things like that through group policy. It also adds remote desktop, so if you need that functionality. The other piece it adds is Azure Join. So Azure Join is similar to Domain Join, except it's designed to join your computer to Azure Active Directory. So Azure Active Directory is the solution, the identity management solution that's behind Office 365. So if you already have Office 365, you're already using that, you already have Azure AD. So now you can join your Windows 10 machines to Azure and now manage them from the cloud, basically. So that's a nice feature there. If you don't have an Active Directory controller on site, let's say you have no servers, and you're using Office 365 with SharePoint and OneDrive and Mail and everything from there, then this allows you that option to do what you could do with Domain Join, but now do it solely through a Cloud Active Directory. So another nice feature there. You also get Windows Store for Business, BitLocker, and then Windows Update for Business, which again allows the IT administrators to control which updates end up on their computers. If you were to buy Windows 10 Professional brand new, it's about $199 right now. And again, it's a free upgrade for users of Windows 7 and Windows 8 only. Windows 7 is Service Pack 1, but I don't think anybody's not on Service Pack 1 right now. And again, that one is free until July of 2016. So the last version is Enterprise. Enterprise we're not going to talk a lot about. It's intended for larger enterprises. Most of these people are on volume licenses, and they've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of computers and need a different way. So they're deploying Windows in a different way. They're not going down to Fry's and buying a laptop that comes with Windows on it. They're actually getting Windows from their volume licensing agreement and either working with a reseller like maybe Dell or HP to have their machines shipped directly to them with Windows 7 or Windows 10 Enterprise on them, or when they get machines in, they're putting their own custom image on there that includes Windows Enterprise. So they get a few different features, so direct access, app blocker, branch cache. So great features if you need them, but most everyone, I think, in this audience is going to be on Windows Pro because that's the most common version that everybody will use. Okay, so how do you get Windows 10? There's two primary methods for doing it, and the first one is Windows Update. So most of you have probably seen the Windows icon down in the bottom right by the clock that has been prompting you to upgrade to Windows 10. Hey, it's free. Click on me. It's time to upgrade. All right, so you've probably seen this down in the taskbar there, and you can choose to upgrade directly to Windows 10 right from Windows Update. And so, when it's ready, it'll tell you it's here, and you can click to continue, and it'll walk you through all the upgrade steps. This works pretty well most of the time for most everybody. There are times when this doesn't work so well. So they also offer what's called a Windows 10 Media Creation Tool. And the Media Creation Tool is available at the link here. And again, we can provide these slides so you don't have to try to write this link down. But the Media Creation Tool basically does is you download the software and then you run it, and you have a couple different options when you run the tool. The first is to upgrade this PC. So you can use it to upgrade your existing PC. The other thing the Media Creation Tool does is it allows you to create a DVD or USB drive that has a clean install of Windows 10. Most people will not use this method, but if you needed to, you need to reinstall Windows 10 on your machine that you upgraded or something like that, then you would have the ability to create your own, a copy of Windows 10. So if you really like having a CD or a USB with Windows 10 on it, this is the way you would create it. Now, obviously, you have to have a qualifying version in order to do that. But again, most people are going to use the Windows 10 Media Creation Tool to upgrade this PC. In my experience, I've had much better luck actually using the Creation Tool than just letting Windows Update do it. Windows Update tends to fail every so often, whereas the Media Creation Tool almost always will upgrade the machine without any problems. No matter which way you choose to upgrade, you're going to be presented with this nice upgrading Windows option here. And so it'll go through, upgrade all the different files and features and things like that, drivers, whatnot, and your machine will reboot several times. How long this takes depends on your hardware. So before you even begin this process, you have to make sure that your hardware is compatible. Certainly this is something that your NIMS consultant can help you with. But making sure your hardware is compatible, and then depending again on the speed of your machine, the speed of your connection, this can take 30 minutes or it can take 3 hours. So just be prepared if you decide to upgrade to Windows 10 and you don't have anything urgent that you are planning to do right away. Okay, so we've got upgraded to Windows 10. So this is just a quick chart showing the different upgrade paths. So basically what this is that if you have any of the versions on the left-hand side, Windows 7, Starter, Home, or Windows, I'll include Windows 10 in there. But if you have these versions and you upgrade to Windows 10, you will get a similar version. So if you've got Windows 7 Home, you're going to get Windows 10 Home. If you've got Windows 7 Professional, Windows 8 Professional, you're going to get Windows 10 Professional when you upgrade. If for some reason you had a home version, you can upgrade it to Windows 10 Home, and then for $99, you can upgrade that to Pro. So there is an easy solution to get from Home to Pro. When you upgrade to Windows 10 Home, there's actually an area where it says, hey, would you rather a Pro? And you click the link, and it takes you to the website. And you put your credit card in, you pay $99, and then it'll download the remaining bits that you're missing to give you Windows 10 Professional. I would think most everybody's probably, again, got Windows 7 Professional, so they would end up with Windows 10 Professional.
James, we've got a couple questions here.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll start with the first one, the short one here. How long will it take for Windows 10 to download?
So again, that depends on a couple different factors, right? So that depends on the speed of your internet connection first. And nobody's really on dial-up anymore, but if you've got a slower internet connection or one that's being heavily used, it takes a little bit longer. It also depends on the current state of your machine. So in addition to Windows 10, it also looks at all the different updates that you might need to go along with Windows 10. So depending on the number of updates that are needed, that could take a little bit longer. And then the last piece, I guess, would be the hardware compatibility. So it's got to look at drivers. So if you've got lots of printers or lots of extraneous things that need a driver update, it's got to pull down all the updated drivers for Windows 10 as well. So unfortunately, the answer is the typical, it varies, it depends on a number of different things. And again, there are different ways to speed that up by turning off things like updates and whatnot and updating after you upgrade. But typically, it can be 30 minutes to, I don't think I've seen it take more than about an hour. But it could take longer, depending on your situation.
Okay, thanks. The second question is, would it be possible, since we were unable to get audio on some of those videos, to go back and maybe cover some of those things? And kind of, I think what the question is asking is if you can go back and kind of do it in live, kind of a live demonstration.
Sure, not a problem at all. Yeah.
Running through Cortana and Edge and all those other things.
Yep, I can certainly get through a couple more slides here, and then we'll go back and we can do a live demo. I think we've got plenty of time. Again, like I said, I've got Windows 10 on this machine, so I can show some of those things. Okay.
Thanks.
That's just those two questions? Okay. Okay. So again, these links will be available to you when we send the presentation out, but there are a couple of different sites that Microsoft has that you can walk through Windows 10. There's some different demos and getting started and whatnot. So let me just show you those real quick. So this is their Getting Started with Windows 10 page. So this one has similar videos to the ones I showed, but a whole lot more. So almost anything you'd be looking for, search Cortana, Windows Hello, Microsoft Edge. So on this page it talks about all the different things, and no matter what you click on it, it's going to give you information about how to use it and what it can do. Some pages have videos, some don't, but lots of different, how do I do this stuff and how do I get started using Windows 10. The other link, the second link there, takes you to Windows Demo. So this one will do very similar things. So again, I can click on Meet Cortana, and then I can choose to watch a video. Let me turn the volume down a little bit in my ear. I know you guys can't hear the video, or hear the audio, sorry. But there's different videos, again, you can watch with how different things work. In this example, he's asking Cortana what's in my calendar for tonight, and he's searching his Outlook address, or his Outlook calendar in this case probably, and providing some answers. So we won't go too deep into that, but this site does have the ability to sort of emulate how Windows 10 works and show you some of the different features. And then the third link that's in the presentation is again, more for the IT pro, but gives you some of the more technical features that are available. So how do we prepare for deployment if we're doing Windows Enterprise, or if we're not doing Windows Enterprise, maybe we want to know how some of these other features work. We can look at some of the different technical demonstrations, or visit the Tech Center, or Microsoft offers virtual academies for anybody wanting to learn more about it. So that one's a little more on the technical side, but those are what those 3 links cover there. And then let's go ahead and do the last poll on what people think about their level of interest now in Windows 10 based on what they've seen. So we've got quite a few Windows 7 users there, so hopefully, despite whatever technical difficulties we had, this encourage you to consider upgrading to Windows 10 and taking advantage of some of the new features and functionality, but maybe it didn't. So I'll leave that open another few seconds here and let everybody get a chance to vote. Again, we'll see. It looks like the majority of people have said yes, although we've got a few no's in there. Huh? Is that the way I read that correctly, Henry? I'm not sure which one's yes, which one's no, actually. So let you.
Yes, 69% yay, 31% no.
Okay, so some people either already upgraded, maybe in that no category, or said, nah, I think I'll stick with Windows 7. So that's okay too. All right. So the last page here, and again, we'll provide these slides to you, is contact information. So if you have questions, or again, I apologize if the technical difficulties there. If you want me to show you the presentation one-on-one, we can certainly walk through that, or again, we can provide the presentation to you. So there's my contact information. So now what Henry asked for was me to go back and actually show you some of this stuff live. So we'll go ahead and do that. If anybody's got questions, they can either have them type them, or you can unmute them, and we can speak directly to any direct questions. If they want to raise their hand, they want to talk. So let me go.
Yeah, we got one quick question here. When Windows 10, when they launched Windows 10, did it change bookmarks? And so this person would like to know how to change their bookmarks back to what they need. I'm going to go ahead and, if it's okay, unmute this person. I'm not sure if I asked your question,
Sure.
So here we go. Okay, the line's open.
Was the question related to bookmarks in the web browser?
Yeah, when Windows 10 took over, it changed bookmarks. They want to know how they can change their bookmarks back to the way they were. Okay.
I'm not quite sure I understand that, what the change was. It was just the look and feel. So bookmarks, the way they're listed in favorites now, or if it's something else.
No, it's in the web browser.
Right.
Exactly what you just said.
Okay, so this is the Edge browser, and I don't have any favorites here. But if I did, the favorites would display here. One of the things I like to point out to people, and actually have quite a few users that do this, is Internet Explorer is still available to you. And so it should not have changed any of your Internet Explorer bookmarks. So if you had bookmarks in Internet Explorer already, those should remain in the Internet Explorer. The upgrade should not have modified those. I can go ahead and import any bookmarks that I had. So this is the look and feel of the bookmarks in Edge. But again, in Internet Explorer, if I look at the bookmarks there, they look like this. So I'm not sure if that answers the question or not. I can't hear the person if they're talking, so maybe you can find out if that answers the question.
They don't have a microphone, just audio.
No. Okay. So feel free to have them reach out to me directly, or I can reach out to them directly, and we can maybe answer that a little better. But the short answer is to my best of my knowledge and my experience, it does not delete any bookmarks from the browser. It may not import them directly into the Edge browser. You may have to do that manually, which is what I just did. But everything should still be in Internet Explorer. And again, if you'd rather use Internet Explorer instead of the Edge browser, you certainly can do that. It's still there. They just don't make it as prominent on the toolbar as they do Edge, because they want you to use Edge. So let's go through the Start menu first, because that seems to be one of the more popular ones. So down in the bottom left-hand corner, we don't see the word Start anymore. We just see the Windows logo. So people that are used to Windows 8 or have already gone to Windows 10, they're familiar with this. If you're used to Windows 7, it might be a little bit different for you. But if I click the Windows logo, or on your keyboard, there's usually a Windows key, we can press that. That brings up the Start menu. So some of the things they showed in the videos is the ability to do things like resize. So I can right-click on a tile here, and I can resize it. So the current size of the medium, I could change it to small, and I could change it to wide. And so I can change the size of the tiles. The idea here, Bear, is what's relevant to you. So this one up here is something for Microsoft Money. So maybe I want to resize this one to wide because I'm really interested in what's going on in Money. Or maybe I want to take this news one here and I want to make it large because I really want to make sure that I can see my news. Of course, it took a few seconds for it to start updating it. And I can move tiles around by clicking and dragging. I can move tiles around, put them wherever it makes sense for me. Again, I can right-click on them and I can get rid of them. So if I don't really care about Xbox Live, I can unpin that from the start, get rid of that one. So now you've seen my news and my Money once I've updated. So if I want to make those bigger because those are more important to me, I can certainly do that. Again, I can shrink the Start menu, or I can make it bigger, so I can resize that. So I get different views there. If I want to call this something else, I can rename this group to a group of apps. Whatever it is we want to do there. So we can modify those. And again, the most used applications are shown here. So in this example, I've got Outlook 2016. So in the video, I talked about these arrows on the right-hand side. So if I click on this arrow, now I've got ability to do more things. So I could click on New Email Message, and it would jump right into Outlook with the new email message open up, waiting for me to create a new email message. Now this is whether or not I have Outlook open or not. In this case, I don't have it open, but it would do that for me. Same thing with Word. I can click on the jump list and look for some of my recent documents. I can jump right into a recent document. Right? So instead of having to open Word and then clicking File and Open, I can jump right into a document. Internet Explorer has similar things, different locations I've been to. So I can go right to those, right through the jump list without having to open the app first and then navigate to those. A couple other things down here in the bottom left. We've got the File Explorer. So this is the good old Windows Explorer, right? I just want you to show me my documents so I can drill down and I can find whatever it is I'm looking for. So that's what File Explorer does. We also have the ability to click on All Apps, which is down here in the bottom left. Click on All Apps, and now I've got a complete list of every application that's on there. Now maybe this is not too hard for me to scroll through, but if I don't want to scroll through, I click on the letter. So in this case, I click on the letter A, and then I'll click on the letter S, and it will jump down to my S. So now I'm closer to whatever it is I'm looking for, maybe in the S category.
Okay, we have another question, James. When Windows 10 downloads and you have Google Chrome browser on your computer, when it installs, will it delete Google Chrome, or
No.
or will it come back, or would you have to says here delete it manually?
Yeah. So the upgrade to Windows 10 does not delete any of your applications. If any of your applications are incompatible, it'll tell you. Most of the time, the applications are going to be fine. What it will sometimes prompt you is maybe you've got an outdated driver. So maybe you've got a Brother printer that just needs a driver update. But no, it's not going to delete Google Chrome. So if you didn't want Google Chrome, you would have to go through the normal process of going through the control panel and adding new programs and removing Google Chrome if you didn't want it. it's not going to delete any applications from your machine automatically. And what it will do, so if Google was your default, is you'll notice at the top here, it's not my default browser anymore. So the one thing it does do is it will make Edge your default browser. So you will have to set, if you're like, I don't want to use Edge, I want to stick with Chrome, no problem. It's still on there. You just have to set it back to your default. That's the only thing I've noticed that it does as far as making a change. But it will not delete the application. Okay, a couple other little things just to point out. So the power icon is here. So that's where we get sleep, shut down, start. It's under power now. If we wanted to log off, that's all the way up here at the very top, where we could log out, switch accounts, things like that. We could lock our computer from here. You can also always do that with the Windows L key. That will lock it. So down here we've got a couple different ways again. So one last thing here is we click the Windows icon, we can start typing. So I started typing Outlook, and look, there's Outlook at the top. If I hit enter, it's going to go ahead and open up Outlook. In their example, you type in Maps. There's Maps. I hit enter, the Maps open up. So quicker way for you to find your applications that you need to interact with them, rather than looking, clicking start and saying, oh, where's Maps? I got to click all apps and then scroll down to the end, right? We don't have to do that. We can just start typing in whatever it is we're looking for. And then the last piece would be Cortana. So you can see the Cortana logo here, where you can ask anything. So show me top news today, Cortana. Not sure if it'll work with my headset on or not, but Cortana. Hey, Cortana. Yeah, probably not going to be great. Yeah, may not be able to hear me right now, but the idea basically is I could speak to Cortana and she would be able to respond with answers just like you saw in some of the videos. So the other thing people wanted to see was on the, let me just turn off this favorites. No, we'll leave it on for now. The other thing people wanted to see was on here we can, let's see if okay, so this one has a reading pane. So if a reading view is available, the reading view will light up. Let me go back one. If you notice, there's no reading view available on this site, but on this Windows 10 demo site there is. So I can click the reading icon, and it reformats the page so that it's easier for me to read. So it's gotten rid of some of the fluff, and I've got a nice, easy to review page. I can always turn that off, and it goes back to the normal web page. So those are nice features there, being able to, especially if you're reading an article or something on a web page that's of interest to you, and you don't want all the other stuff getting in the way. You can put the reading pane on. The other thing was the web note. So you've got the ability to click on here, and now, like they mentioned, I've got a pen, and I can draw directly on the web page. I can add can add something that says, check out this site. I can make notes on there, and I can do different highlight colors if I want to do a different color, and do another color. There's an eraser, so if I messed up, I could erase stuff. But those are things that you can do directly on the web page. You can click different things, add notes, and whatnot. When you're done, you can hit save, and I can save my notes. And in this case, they didn't show it in the video, but what just happened actually was it saved it to OneNote. It saved it to OneNote. So it saved it to my OneNote notebook, so that I've now got this in my list of notes available to myself later. The one they showed before was the ability to send it directly to someone. I'm not signed in, so it wasn't giving me the send option, but if I was signed in, I could then send it directly to a user that could see it. Or in this case, I could add it to my reading list so I could come back to later. So a few different options to save. If I was signed in, I could then send it to somebody as well. If I click on share, then I could share it through mail. So by default, it's going to say, if I'm not signed into these applications, which is why it doesn't pass those along. So reading view. The other thing that I've noticed is when you come into Windows 10 the first time, to the Edge browser, is a lot of people, they see this screen, and they're looking near the top, and they're trying to figure out where's that. There's usually an address bar up here where I type in www whatever. Where did that go? Why is it not here anymore? So what you do now with Edge, and this is actually becoming pretty common in most browsers, is you're just going to type what you're looking for in here. So if you wanted to go to yahoo.com, you would just type that right in the search box, and it's going to take you to yahoo.com. So you don't have to, you don't need to look. Now, once we go to Yahoo, now this bar comes available, and we can make modifications up here. But this is probably one of the most common questions they get is they open Edge for the first time, and they don't see that bar at the top, and they're not sure how to get to the website they want to get to. So just so you know, you can always type right in the search box here exactly what you're looking for. Does that cover some of the questions on that we asked? Was there another video that it didn't come out clean that you wanted to touch on here?
No, but I'll go ahead and I'll unmute everybody here who has a mic. Some people are on phone. And please kind of open things up here. Oh, somebody did want to know how you changed the home page back.
The home page in Edge?
Yes.
Okay. So I believe in Edge, let's see, I want Google to be my home page. I believe there it's set up. That's a good question. I can't remember where that actually is. I'm not sure, but there might be another piece over here I can't see. There is a settings page somewhere. I don't. This is favorites. I don't see it off the top of my head. Maybe I can't see it because there's toolbars in the way. I don't see that in the way. Oh, there. Couldn't see it because the toolbars in the way. So on the right-hand corner, there's three little dots, this three little ellipses, and then I can click on settings. And one of the settings I can set up is open with a start page, which is the generic start page you saw. Or I can say I want a specific set of pages. So I want to pick custom, and I want to make sure that anytime I open a web browser, I go to yahoo.com, I can set that up as a setting. So there's a few different settings in here, but I can set that up as one of my settings. And so now if I close this, oops, sorry, I didn't actually hit save on that. Do that one more time. Settings. Sorry. Actually, I have to click the little plus sign here to add it. So now if I click out and come back in, it should open directly to yahoo.com. So you can also, just one other piece with that is you can have a specific set of pages. So we typically think of when you open your browser, oh, I just want my home page to open. Well, what if you had 3 home pages? So I can add in more than one home page if I want. Right? So if I always want Yahoo, Google, and I don't know, Microsoft. If I want those 3 pages to open, I can do that. So just one more time, get out, go back in, and you'll see that all 3 opened at the top. So those are the 3 most commonly used pages I use. One other feature that I actually use a lot is previous pages. So typically when I reopen a browser, I want it to reopen all the pages I had open last time I was in there. So that's another popular one that people use. Is I don't want to have to list all the sites when I close it as well. You can change themes, you can do all kinds of other things, just like you used to do in Internet Explorer, so you can clear your browsing data, things like that. So we are at 1 o'clock, so I'm happy to take more questions, but I understand that I'm going to be respectful of everybody's time, so if you do need to drop off, feel free to, and thank you for your time. So if you want to stay on and ask more questions, you can do that as well. Henry, you got any more questions out there?
No, that's all the questions we have right now. Again, the lines are open, so if you do have computer audio, you can check and see if you do have a mic. and feel free to ask any questions. And those who have dialed in, you know, the line is open to ask any questions directly to James.
It's pretty quiet out there. So again, more than happy to, you know, anybody after the call, if they want one-on-one, or if you've got a NIMS consultant that you're already working with, certainly you can ask them about Windows 10. Tell them you came to the webinar and learned some hopefully good things, and you know, follow up with them, and we could, they can certainly help you. And then this session was recorded. Again, do apologize about a couple of the technical difficulties there. To work that out for next time, but we will provide the recording for those that want it, as well as the slides. So with that, thank you for coming and appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks everyone, and please feel free, if you haven't signed up yet for the other webinars that we have on our schedule. We do have one next month on the 15th on ransomware. What is it and how to minimize your chances of being its next victim. I think it's a very good webinar to attend. And then in July, we have one on Microsoft SharePoint. Thanks, everyone.